You're watching Eyewitness News at 9 on the CW7 with Brandon Bartlett, meteorologist Wayne Hart, sports with Randall Parmley, and In Depth with Brad Bird.
As we told you earlier, the FDA has granted Eli Lilly approval for emergency use of a new antibody treatment to fight COVID-19, and Evansville played a role in getting that drug on the market. Dr. David Schultz with Evansville Primary Care played a large role in overseeing the study of that drug for Eli Lilly. Earlier tonight, I talked with Dr. Schultz about this new drug and his role in getting it developed and approved. Dr. Schultz, thanks for joining us tonight. The FDA has given Eli Lilly the green light for emergency use of an antibody treatment that it developed, and you had a role in the study of that treatment. First off, tell us about the role you played in getting that treatment developed.
Well, Brandon, Qualmedica, which is a research company in Evansville, Indiana, approached me about being their principal investigator for this research study that Eli Lilly was conducting. And it was a major research study. And with the pandemic going around, it was a no-brainer. I agreed to be their principal investigator.
Well, tell us about, so part of the study was conducted here in Evansville.
Absolutely. We played a very important role in this as we have done phase 2 studies for this new monoclonal antibody product. And we saw some very positive results overall. So what happened was Qualmedica conducted the study, and we went ahead and administered the monoclonal antibody to individuals who had COVID-19, and then obtained data from this study, and that was sent in to the FDA for this approval. We weren't the only place in the country, of course. There were hundreds of sites around the nation, but it's very interesting that Evansville, Indiana, we were one of those studies.
Absolutely. Well, tell us about the process of studying a treatment like that, because during the pandemic, everything has to be put on the fast track.
When you have a pandemic like this that's claiming lives, it was very gracious of the government to encourage us to go fast track. And so we have to have testing sites, and we have to have ability to have patients be agreeable to conduct those studies. And so we were able to easily get them enrolled to Qualmedica for the studies, and they were able to receive study medication throughout the process.
Now, this is not a vaccine like Pfizer is developing. This is an antibody treatment given to people already infected with COVID who have mild to moderate cases. What impact do you think this treatment will have in the fight against COVID-19, and could it possibly lessen the number of deaths from the virus?
Well, Brandon, this is huge, because what this drug is a monoclonal antibody, and actually there's 2 of them in this product. And what that does is it binds to the spike protein that's on the virus. And when it does that, it reduces that virus from replicating. And by reducing the replication of the virus, it causes less amounts of the virus to be in your system and should decrease the severity and increase the speed of recovery.
Now, how is this treatment different from remdesivir, another treatment that's been approved by the FDA?
Well, remdesivir is actually an antiviral. It's similar to an antibiotic, except it's an antiviral that actually fights against the virus itself, which is different from the vaccine, which actually prevents an individual from getting the virus. So this medication actually detects the virus, binds to the virus, and then keeps it from replicating.
With Eli Lilly's treatment getting FDA approval, and with the news yesterday from Pfizer that its vaccine could be 90% effective, would you say that we're making some promising advances in saving lives and stopping this virus?
Brandon, we have made incredible advances with researching this COVID-19. And as horrible as this research, as horrible as the virus has been, the research into this virus has been incredible. And as a result, we're learning more about this virus, more about the life cycle, and more information about how to attack a virus. And certainly the monoclonal antibody that's been developed by Eli Lilly is way far ahead in advances in antiviral therapy.
Yeah, pretty incredible stuff, and incredible to know that you and Evansville took part in this. Dr. David Schultz with Evansville Primary Care, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
My pleasure. Have a great day.